What's going on, my friends? How are you doing today? We got a lot to go through, so I'm going to try to plow through a lot of information here. So I had a couple people I briefly mentioned in a recent video. A couple people, let me try to say this the right way. I recently mentioned in a recent video, I am not talking well today, am I? That if anybody's interested in hearing how Trekker works, their lease program, how you can make your money over here and all that stuff, I'll make a video. Couple people came back, said they're looking at lease options and they'd like to hear about it. So today we're going to talk about how to get your damn money over here at Trekker. I want to tell you, I'm not trying to sell you a job. I don't care where you work. I do not care. But after I tell you this, if you decide you want to work here, my driver code's always pinned down there in the comments. And we might as well get me a referral bonus, right? We might as well. I got no problems with taking money from a trucking company. I've been here for about 2 months and ended up it's a pretty damn good decision for me. It's working out pretty well. And a lot of people are in really bad leases, not making any money, scammy lease companies, and they bounce around from lease to lease looking to finally make some money. So I may have a solution for you, but this isn't going to work for everyone, all right? A lot of it has to do with where you live, hiring area. You just may not fit into their hiring area. If you're not sure, if it feels like a gray area to you, I'm not the right person to ask. Call one of their recruiters, say, I live in Arkansas. Will that get me there? I'm looking at a map right now. That's where I got Arkansas, because we run near there, kind of. I live in Indiana. Can you guys still get me my home time? Things like that. West Coast is probably a no-go, I would imagine. Ask them anyways if you feel like it. Somebody told me they're up in the Northeast, and they called and talked to Trekker, and they said no. They do not hire out of that area. So this deal may work for everyone. I mean, well, that's not what I meant to say now, is it? This deal may not work for everyone. But it definitely has worked out actually pretty fucking well for me. And I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you all about it. First thing I want to clear up is a lot of people see that they're based in Illinois and they're doing a lease purchase program, and they immediately go, oh, scam Russian Chicago leasing company. Listen, they're based in Caseyville, Illinois, which is actually just outside St. Louis, and not ran or owned by Russians. It's legit. It's perfectly legit company. And if it wasn't, I would have quit already. You guys know that, and I would have made a video talking shit about them. So it's a legit situation. So I've got numbers written down here, I've got the lanes written down here, and most importantly, I'm going to tell you how you can sort of influence the loads here, or the timing of the loads more likely, to help you improve your money on a weekly basis. How many times have I been yelled at in my own comment section that I can't think about my money weekly? But that's not the way I operate here. I try to make sure every week I make as much money as possible, or what the fuck was I doing? And in the time I've been here, I only had one bad week. I said a couple videos ago that it was 2 bad weeks, but I misunderstood something. Learn as I go type of thing, and I still ended up making about $1,500 that week that I thought was going to be bad. So here's what I'm really helping you guys out with if you decide to come to Trekker. I had to figure this all out sort of on my own. They give you this handy little map in orientation that I'll go over with you, but when it's not till you really get into it that you start to figure it out and how to do your best you can do over here. And my first month, I wasn't quite that productive. It's good though, because they give you a lot of sign-on bonuses in the first month. $700 on your first check with no truck payment. There's like another $500 or $700 bonus in there, and all through your first month they're giving you a shitload of bonuses. So you don't really have to know what's going on necessarily to make good money that first month. It's a good time to figure out how things work. But if you're thinking about going over there and you watch this fucking video, I can help you hit the ground running in that first month to make as much money as possible in that first month with the bonuses. In my first month with Trekker, my total deposits to my bank account were around $7,000. If you come in already kind of knowing what to do, maybe you can get that up to $9 grand, $10 grand in your first month. Now, that's with bonuses and everything, okay? So let's go over their little map. These are the lanes. They give you this map in orientation. I got a bunch of numbers down here for us to go over. See this little sad face out of Colorado? Oh, that's adorable, isn't it? Yeah, they just straight up tell you in orientation, hey, that load out of Colorado, it sucks. It's not good. But it's these other loads right here. So we leave Denver, and we head to, sorry, got to get that on the camera. We head over to around the Midwest here. This is normally going to be Davenport, Cedar Rapids, somewhere in that area. From there, we load up again. We head to Dallas, Fort Worth, that area. And then from there, you head back to Colorado. It's a little bit boring. I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit boring because you're just running around the middle of the country. But with it coming into winter right now, this is a good fucking run to be on for sure. You're not going to throw a chain on this fucking route or whatever you want to call it. These lanes, you're not going to be throwing chains. Now, that's not to say you might not get shut down in the wintertime running across Nebraska, you know, but there's a lot of time spent down south in Texas where you're going to have some good weather. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. So I took the last 3 loads, well, the last 4, but the last 3, you'll understand when I get there what I'm talking about, because they want you to run 3 loads in a week as a minimum without any home time or anything like that. So I took those 3 loads and I wrote them all down here. And look, I've got such great writing. These 3 numbers here are just the ends of the load number, so I would be able to match everything up with the fuel surcharge, with the amount of miles and everything in there. But there's a little more to that. So here's how the 3 loads worked out for me, all right? I went from the Midwest up there, Davenport, Cedar Rapids, down to Dallas. $1,207 on the load with $228 fuel surcharge, making it $1,435 on that load that came to the truck. That's after the company's cut. They have a few different options for leases. They have a per mile. They have a per mile with fuel surcharge. Then they have a per mile without fuel surcharge, but as long as you fuel in their network, which is normally Pilot Flying J, then your fuel is capped at 99 cents per gallon. Or they have the percentage with fuel surcharge, which is what I'm doing. I decided to do the percentage. So they have a few options for you, right? However you feel more comfortable. A lot of guys in the orientation were all about doing the mileage. I wanted to do the percentage. The rates, are a little bit low right now, as we all know. Not as bad as really as it was, but not great either. So the percentage, maybe if I sat down to do the math, maybe I'm not making as much as the per mile guys, but it's probably pretty even if I'm being honest with you. But anyways, that load was 757 miles and with $1,435 to the truck. Next, we did Dallas to Denver. That's the big load most of the time. That's the one you want to try to get every week for sure. You want to get that one. And this one I didn't make as much money as I normally do, but that's okay. I did Dallas to Denver, $1,569 to the truck, and then a $225. There's a reason I'm telling you guys all this. Don't worry. I got to give you numbers so you know what's going on. $225 fuel surcharge with $1,794 to the truck after they took their cut of the percentage. All right, normally I do a little better on that load. I'm not sure what happened that week, but normally I'm about the $1,950 to $2,000 range on that load to Denver. Maybe I pulled a spot market load. I don't really remember. Most of their stuff is contract. Most of the shit here is drop and hook, but every once in a while you might pull something off the spot market. You got to go do a live load or what have you, and that may have been what happened. I didn't really go investigate too much, but normally, like I said, I'm in the $1,950 to $2,000 range with fuel surcharge included. We did about $1,800 on that one, so not that great. Could have been better. Then from there we did Denver to Midwest. Out of Denver always fucking sucks. Out of Denver always fucking sucks, and that's just the way it is. So we went Denver to Davenport, let's say. I'm pretty sure we went to Davenport for $522. Ouch, right? Not good. And a fuel surcharge of $292, making that entire load $814 to the truck. Now that's just part of it though. That's just how it works. Coming out of Denver always fucking sucks. What I was able to do, that was, did I give you guys the miles? 757 miles on one load, 772 on another load, and 834 miles on the last load, making it 2,363 miles. Look, I'm not done yet. There's something I'm going to tell you here in a second, but I'm not done, all right? 2,000, yeah, you got to remind the guys with the short attention spans. Hang the fuck on for a second. I'm still talking here. Anyways, I did 2,363 miles that week. Those are the loaded miles. There's a little bit of deadhead that may have got you around the 2,500 mile range, for $4,043 gross to the truck. Yes, that's to the truck after the company's cut. But I wasn't done. I wasn't done. You guys remember not too long ago, there was a battle raging on in my comment section, which tends to happen sometimes. Right around the time I was being a menace to society because I got a Swift truck up to 71 miles per hour and risked national security or whatever people were flipping out about. He went 71 miles per hour. Fucking unsafe. Unsafe he is. We need him off the roads. Right around that time, there was a whole other debate going on about how I can break through 3,000 miles a week. I absolutely fucking can do it, and I won't take no for a fucking answer, right? People were accusing me of being greedy. Josh wants more than 2,500 miles. Why don't he just take what he can get and all that shit? Listen, I'm not out here to make the bare minimum. I'm not out here to just take what they'll give me. I'm out here to take what's mine, motherfuckers. I'm out here to make fucking money, all right? The whole battle raged on, and they said, Josh, you can't get over... People actually told me this, my friends. They told me you can't get over 2,500 miles because of ELDs, Josh. If anybody tells you that you can't get over 2,500 miles because of ELDs, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. They're being fucking lazy, all right? And they're making it your problem. You can easily get over 2,500 miles, so I wasn't done with that week. I got another load done. And that was the same one from the Midwest to Dallas, for the exact same rate, $1,435. Now, I didn't do the math on that, but let's say we take 1,400 and the 4,043, we had 1,400. We did roughly $5,400 gross to the truck in that week. Now, there used to be a time where I tried to gross 7,000 to the truck, but you know, those days are kind of behind us now, aren't they? The reason I tell y'all this is to tell you sort of how you can influence your own goddamn money over here. Now, I'm not a prime driver, okay? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I make $7,000 every week deposited to the bank account. No capping over here. This guy Trucks only tells you what's really going on, all right? With all that said, the money deposited to my bank today, because that was the last week that I just finished here, Wednesday, was $1,930 deposited to my bank account today. Now, is every week like that? Of course fucking not. Of course it's not. One week, my friends, I made $400. I was real grumpy about that, but I learned something that week, and that with that being a lesson learned, I can avoid that in the future. I'll tell you what I did, because every once in a while, they go down to Georgia, near Atlanta. I've only been sent down there once. Now, what happened that week is I left Denver, which is a shitload, right, from the Midwest, and I went down to Georgia, which was pretty decent. $1,200 or so down there, plus fuel surcharge. But what happened out of there was I came up out of Georgia for not a good rate at all. I had the Denver load, and then I had the load leaving Georgia, which after expenses resulted in about $400 that week. It was a timing issue. You guys know how I'm always harping on making my week good every week, week in and week out. Because of the timing of that, I got 2 shit loads that week, which may have led to a better week next week. I don't fucking remember. I have no idea. But that's what happened that week. So if that were to come up again, I might be inclined to reject that going down to Georgia, but I don't reject loads here. A lot of people have been asking me that. Okay, they've asked me a few things. Josh, how do you go about picking your loads? You don't. Look, this is what you're signing up for here. Let me get it again. I dropped it. This is what you're signing up for here. That triangle. That's it. That's what you're signing up for. Will you deviate from that triangle every once in a while? Yeah, a little bit. I had one in the Midwest that they sent me down to like Kansas or something, 500-mile run, and then bounced me back up to the Midwest to get a load going down to Dallas. It was kind of weird that week, but I got in 4 loads that week too, because they gave me that little extra day run in there, and that worked out okay. But most of the time, that's what you're doing. So why on God's green earth would you reject a load off of this? That's what you're signing up to do, is that triangle right there. The load out of Denver is always going to suck. That's just the way it is. You get it. It's normally preloaded in Denver. So you go get the fucking thing, and depending where you picked up from, it may be a live unload on the other end, which is the next load that I got. Live unload on the other end, but they're one of those places that get shit done pretty quick, so I'm not too worried about it. Plus, I'm running kind of short on hours, so I can sort of build up some recaps over the weekend here. but it may be a drop on the other end of that out of Denver also. And this is where you start to influence your money. Here's the point, what everybody's all been waiting for. With so much of their stuff being drop and hook on the other end with their dedicated customers, basically, this isn't typical over the road trucking, which is kind of nice actually now that I think about it, but kind of boring too. But with them being all drop and hook, a lot of times you can go get the load early, not always, but you can always drop that load early. So I'm always a day ahead, especially going into Dallas. I'm always a day ahead on that fucking thing. Now, it depends how everything's working out in Dallas, because I'll be getting there at the end of my day if I'm going to be a day ahead. If it's the cutoff for the end of the pay period, I'm going to go ahead and blast into Dallas, Fort Worth. Fort Worth is where we normally go over there to deliver. And then I'm going to just bounce out of town for the end of the night. That's it. And then I'll have to go back into Dallas the next morning to get my load going to Denver. Now, if it's not at the end of the payroll cutoff, I'll just wait to do all of Dallas and Fort Worth all in one day. I'll stop short of Dallas, 60 miles short or so. Fort Worth, I mean, I know they're two different cities. I'll stop short about 60 miles or so, and then I'll go in the next morning, drop the load, go pick up the other, and get the fuck on out of there, which is what I prefer to do. But this last Wednesday, the payroll ends Wednesday. It's kind of weird. But this last Wednesday, I was able to get that load into Fort Worth a day early, so I went in there, and it was kind of miserable, but I mean, I made $2,000. I can't be mad about that. So that's how over here you start to influence your money. If you want to get out there and run the fucking miles, knock them out, and stay ahead of the game, then you can influence how much money you're going to make. And this company has not sat my truck. Well, one time, but it was when I just started. It was a holiday weekend, and they called me. I went home because I was by the house, right? I went home, and they called me at like 10 o'clock at night, and they said, hey, we got a trailer we need to move to like Kansas for some reason, an empty trailer. Your empty trailer, Josh, can you take your empty trailer to Kansas? And I was like, maybe. And they said, yeah, we'll pay you 68 cents a mile or whatever they said. And I thought about it for a second, and I said, no. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't even cover my cost. Well, maybe it does, but I don't really fucking know. Just straight up 68 cents, no fuel surcharge, no nothing. And I said no, and then I spent the night at home, and they still paid me layover to do that. They paid me layover one other time. They just do layover automatically. You don't even have to ask. But they paid me layover one time because I got into Dallas in the afternoon, and like early afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, I was done for the day, and they didn't have a load till the next morning for me. They fucking paid me layover for that. Like, they didn't even, I didn't ask or anything. So they have an interest in keeping their trucks moving, right? So that's important. That matters. I'm not always dispatched ahead of time, but for the most part, I'm dispatched a day early on what my next load's going to be. But it's just going to be that triangle. That's it. That's all the fuck you're going to do. Like I said, a little bit fucking boring. But if you can stay ahead of schedule, then it's your own goddamn fault if you're not making money, is the fucking point I'm making. If you're not making money, it's your own fucking fault. What are you doing? Are you being lazy? Well, you only got yourself to blame, because they straight up don't sit trucks here. So, with all that said, it's actually allowed me to start making financial plans for my own future over here. And I don't have them all ironed out yet, right? I went with the newest truck. This is a 2025 Cascadia. My payment's like $875 a week, somewhere in there. Now, you can get like I think a 23, 24. I don't know if they still have 22s. And those are going to be a little bit lower payment. These trucks have a balloon payment at the end, right? And mine, being the newest truck in the yard when we were there, mine has a balloon payment of $40,000. Now, chill the fuck out, all right? It's a 4-year lease on mine with $40,000 at the end. I may or may not buy that truck, this truck. I'm not really fucking sure. But because I know what we're going to do every fucking week, I may never go back to over the road again. I wish I meant to come here like 3 years ago, and then I forgot, and I never came to work here. It's probably better that I waited, got a little bit older, a little more mature, but I'll probably never go back over the road again, like straight up over the road. I'm still on the road, right? But these are dedicated lanes for the most part, for their customer, unless everything goes to hell over here, right? But now I know every week what the fuck I'm doing, and how I can like take my check from a, you know, $1,200 to $1,500 check. If I knocked out the 3 loads, there's some variation in there, you know, fuel costs, maybe the load didn't pay as much this week and all those things. So the 3 loads get you about $1,200 to $1,500 a week-ish, in that range. If you can kick in that 4th one, $2,000 that week. And my goal is to get that 4th load in. I'm spitting everywhere. That 4th load in as much as possible. This coming week, I won't be able to, but I should be able to set myself up to get a jump on the week after that. And then actually, I don't know if that's going to work out, because I'm actually planning to take some home time soon. How about that? That's something I rarely do, but I'll talk more about that in just a minute also. Well, let me just talk about it now while I'm thinking about it. If you live in these 3 areas, I haven't requested home time, and I've been here for 2 months. And I actually go by the house almost every weekend. I'll be there today, and I'll stay the night, and I'll head out again. So I'm making it home almost every weekend now. If you live in those areas, I can't guarantee you'll make it home on the weekend. You might make it home on a Wednesday, but you can make it home pretty fucking often. So yeah, I'm delivering right by my house. I'm gonna go park at the truck stop. I'm gonna go the fuck home, which actually kind of maybe locks me in here a little bit. See, my wife isn't a trucker, obviously, and she doesn't really know the ins and outs of trucking necessarily, and that's okay. I have no problem with that, but she's getting kind of used to seeing my white ass come home every weekend and stay the night, so I might be kind of locked in here anyway. She's getting kind of used to seeing me come home every weekend, which is cool, which I don't mind at all. But what I was talking about was this is actually allowing me to make financial plans now. There's a lot going on over here, my friends. I drive the truck. Remember when people were yelling at me that they said I couldn't survive on $1,200 a week? Yeah, I can. I just don't have anything left over. And why the fuck am I out here if I'm not going to have any money left over after I pay the fucking bills, right? So now I'm able to make that extra money, right? Pay all the bills at home. And then I've been doing something, a couple things here. Let me try to put this all in order, because I have a fucking plan, my friends. The YouTube money, you know, I do my little donation to whatever charity when that comes in, but I've been using that to pay off credit card debt from when I owned my truck, and I racked up all my credit cards trying to keep that fucking truck on the road. So YouTube money is gone the minute it comes in, and it goes straight to credit card debt, and we're knocking down those payments. That's what the fuck we're doing, right? And that's still gonna take me a year and a half, 2 years to pay off all my credit card debt. It's fucking nuts. It's insane, right? I dug myself into a fucking hole, but this guy trucks, he works his way out of fucking holes too. Talks his way out of them. That's what I meant to say. That's funny if you're in my head. I don't know if the rest of you got why that's fucking funny to me. Anyways, so that's the plan with that, right? But because now I'm making more money than I need to pay the bills at home, I'm trying to be fucking smart about it for once, and I've started investing again. Nothing crazy. I'm not making so much money that I'm out there on fucking Wall Street bets going, I should throw all my money in GameStop, which was cool while it lasted, but now ETFs, right? Something a little more you know, stable, a little safer. And I've started investing again, and I'm building that account up, right? This all leads up to what I'm talking about. I'm not bragging about money. That's goofy. I'm telling you about how Trekker's actually giving me a way to plan for my fucking future. And you can't be mad about that. You can't be mad about that at all. So I'm investing money in that, paying down the credit card debt, making more money than I need on almost an every weekly basis, and able to start getting my fucking life in order again. And that's the good news, right? Now they have some escrows that they take out of your check. They have 2 escrows. It comes out to $75 a week. Once those are paid, they also will set up just a personal escrow for you. Like, I could save money on my own, of course, that's a thing I'm doing. But they have a personal escrow you can set up. You can set that up whenever you want, but I'm waiting till I get their required escrows out of the way, and then I'm going to have them set me up just a personal escrow, just $50 a week. They put it in an account. Excuse me. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, Jesus. We don't edit, so that's staying in. Anyways, and that's your money. It's not anything they keep. And that escrow account builds interest. So You heard me, right? I got a $40,000 balloon payment on this truck when the lease is over. The truck will have roughly 500,000 miles on it. Now, every 62,000 miles, I think it is, they give you a free truck payment, right? So you just say, yeah, I want to go ahead and use that. And then you get that extra $800-900 on your next check. And that, I'm going to take that $800-900 and I'm going to throw that over there in the ETF that I'm saving, right? I'm going to throw that over there, right? I got them building up this little personal escrow at $50 a week, and I'm doing another $50 a week just to the ETF over here. These aren't big numbers, okay guys? It's just it's a plan that's starting to come together, right? So those are building up, and then I get to the end of the lease. The truck's got about 500,000 miles on it at that point, and they want 40 grand. Actually, not a fucking bad deal. It's really not, because trucks are expensive. And now, do I have the 40 grand or do I not have the 40 grand? Now, unless I get my shit together in the next 4 years, probably not. I probably don't have the 40 grand, but if I keep investing and I keep saving, I could do a lot of different things. All of a sudden, the world is my oyster, baby. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Do I want to go out independent again? Because I bet I got 20 grand. I bet I got 20 grand and I could go buy a truck. Well, it depends on the state of the market. It really fucking depends. Or do I turn this in and just lease a new truck with them? Just might do that. Brand new truck again, and we start over with that. That's a possibility. That's an option. Do I have the 40 grand? Well, if I have the 40 grand, it's a no-brainer. I just buy this shit and I keep running for Trekker, and every week's a free truck payment week after that. But because there's a system here and you know what to expect every fucking week, now I can start to make financial plans for my own goddamn future instead of waiting for some shitty over-the-road dispatcher or load planner to figure out what the fuck they're gonna do with me next. I run here. I did 3,400 miles last week. So there you go, everybody that says you can't do 2,500 miles every week because of ELDs. And I did that all on recaps, by the way. Keep in mind, we are running some of the easiest terrain in this country. You get out across Nebraska and just let her rip. I only run the truck at 65. I'm trying to keep some fuel mileage, right? Trying to do all that. But with all the, finally, my friends, I've been getting the shit kicked out of me for the last at least 3 years in trucking. I've been getting the absolute dog shit kicked out of me. Finally, a plan is starting to come to fruition, something that's starting to make sense, and that's why I'm telling you about fucking Trekker. All right, because there's a lot of shit wrong out there in trucking right now, and the rates could be better. The rates could be better, but they're getting you good fuel discounts. They're putting you in a fuel efficient truck with an APU. None of this optimized idle auto start stop bullshit. An actual APU on the back of the truck, so you can sleep in comfort without your truck starting and stopping all fucking night on you. They get you good fuel discounts. We're up to like 80 cents at some places, and because we're just doing the same shit over and over, I fuel at the same places every week. I know the places I can stop if I'm gonna like this last Wednesday, I was trying to get the Tuesday before that, Tuesday night, I was trying to get in range to hit that Dallas load the next day, get it delivered, Fort Worth, sorry. So I know the places I can stop when it's getting late at night and I'll still have parking. And once you start to figure out how to work this system over here, take advantage of your fuel discounts, know which ways you want to run and where you can park at any time of day, and get ahead of the game any chance you get ahead of schedule. The sky's the fucking limit. The only thing we need over here to get back to some sort of normalcy is maybe to see the rates come up a little bit more. What do we say? I got to 5,400 on that week is what I grossed after the cut to the company. That's pretty fucking good. But maybe if we can creep up just a little bit and get that to 6 grand after delivering 4 loads in a week, and maybe fuel prices come down just a little bit, we're in really good shape. But with their fuel discounts and everything over here, guys, you know me. I don't put my name on fucking companies. You didn't see me saying come to Swift. People still went to Swift because I work there. I don't fucking know why. You didn't see me saying come work at Western Flyer. You didn't see that. If you're in one of these areas right here and you're into doing truck leases and you're not making, at least $1,200 at very least on a consistent basis in your lease, up to apparently $2,000 in a week, you want to check out Trekker. Seriously, I'll take the referral bonus. I'll take that fucking referral bonus. But there's so many people out there going through shit leases, not making any money, don't know how to pay their fucking bills right now. Get your ass over here. take advantage of this. I know it sounds like I'm selling you a fucking used car right now, but look, I'm excited. I've made money over here on a consistent basis. They don't bother me too much. Every once in a while, my dispatcher can be a little bit of a micromanager. Like, oh, what's your ETA on that fucking pickup? Like, I understand when you're gonna drop, like, what's your ETA on that? But if you're going to pick up a preloaded trailer, does anyone give a fuck when your ETA is? It matters when you drop the fucking thing. Why are you sending me a message? So when he gets a little bit micromanagey like that, just a little bit, every once in a while, I just ignore him. I just go do my job. What the fuck you bothering me for, right? Now, I do respond to him when we're talking about drops, right? He's like, what's your ETA to the drop? I want him to have that information. You know why? So he can start working on that next load to get me rolling down the fucking road. It's a good deal over here, guys. It's really good. Look, my reputation's on the line. You know, you might come over here and you might not have a good experience because that's how trucking companies work. But I'm not the guy that gets on YouTube and refers you to every company that I work for. I did that with GP Transco, and GP Transco is still a solid trucking company. And I did that with Trekker now, and that's been it. That's the only places I've ever referred people to. I got a good track record of referring people to good trucking companies, all right? That's it. Bye now.